GovZero is famous for an initiative called Forking the Government. And the word fork, maybe some of you may know and some of you don't, so I will try to explain a little bit. Fork is often used in open source community, meaning that you are creating another version of the working software. So in our sense, we wanted to create another version of the service that the government should have offered. So you can say it is a very action-oriented mentality, meaning you can try to prototype first, and after you prototype, you try to prove that it is possible to provide a service in a certain way. So in a case in GovZero, we say that we're forking the government, meaning we pilot some new ways of doing things, and sometimes the government can take those results back. So we can call the action of taking the result back as merging back. So in this forking and merging context, vTaiwan was born in that kind of context. The project vTaiwan targets at prototyping a better consultation process that brings everyone in rational discussion on national issues. So you can notice that I use the word everyone because here in vTaiwan, everyone can participate and also they can contribute, and that is the meaning of an open project. vTaiwan is the open project, meaning anyone in the world, like including all of you, can contribute to the project anytime. We have attracted people from different backgrounds, such as designers, developers, like lawmakers, and also filmmakers, and so on. And that kind of atmosphere creates various kinds of touch points, such as a website that is an online space where people can participate and comment their ideas. And it also has a combination of meetings and hackathons that is offline, so people can personally interact and face-to-face into a meeting and immerse in conversation that is probably for the public good. So essentially, vTaiwan is an online and offline space that hosts an open consultation process. And this process helps lawmakers to implement decisions with a greater degree of legitimacy. So if I want to describe vTaiwan in just one sentence, I would say vTaiwan is an experiment that prototypes an open consultation process for the entire society to engage in rational discussion on national issues. Okay, so if we can move on to the next slide and describe what the process is like, how does it work? And here you can see a roadmap of the vTaiwan process. But before we dig into the process, I want to remind you that when you read the process, it only gives you a reference to a possible journey of each case launched on vTaiwan. And that means not every case on vTaiwan follows the same journey. And actually every case on vTaiwan are different. And this map can still give you a rough idea on how a case could be hosted by the community. So if we start from this, there's a black dot over there. Every case on vTaiwan started from an issue, a public issue that has to be proposed by the community, and also again commitment from the community. And the community here includes the civil society and the public sector. And that means both the civil society and the government has to be committed to an issue in order to make the issue qualified as a case launched on vTaiwan. And when the issue is qualified, the community launch the case on vTaiwan platform. And then we'll start to look for stakeholders who are related to this case. And the stakeholder discovery phase will be conducted several rounds through a rolling questionnaire where the stakeholders can recommend more stakeholders and go on and on. And then the community will start to produce the description of this case. And that description should be digestible by the stakeholder and also the public, the general public. And if there are terminologies that is more difficult to understand, then those terminologies should be compiled into an open dictionary where everyone can contribute and use as a reference. So when the description and the open dictionary are both ready, we'll create a forum online for deliberation. And the people in Taiwan, or actually basically everywhere in the world, can comment their ideas or vote for other people's idea. And that forum will open for a certain period of time. But when the forum is closed, all comments will be viewed, reviewed, analyzed, and curated as an introduction material for the next event. And that's often a face-to-face consultation meeting there. So we will invite key stakeholders and more active online participants to this consultation meeting. And the meeting will also be live streamed over the internet. So it has a chat room with everyone, where everyone can contribute their ideas to the meeting. So even if there's some people cannot be present to the meeting itself, they can still contribute their idea over the internet. And the meeting will be recorded and transcribed also. So that will be used as the material for the next action, which could be making a draft bill and be sent to the legislation department. Okay, so here you can see roughly the vTaiwan process has roughly 4 stages. But again, there's no rule saying that the stages have to follow one another. So in fact, I can give you some examples, like in the case of FinTech Sandbox. We skipped reflection stage because there was a legislative pressure to pace it more quickly. And in the case of Company Act for supporting social enterprise, we kind of went back to proposal stage after completing an initial draft of benefit corporations. And that was because we wanted to reach more stakeholders beyond Taipei. But roughly you can say vTaiwan's process has these 4 stages, from proposal stage, opinion stage, reflection stage, and legislation stage. Okay, so why is this important? As we know, most of GovZero projects are initiatives that prioritize a better way of doing things, and vTaiwan is no exception. vTaiwan is an ongoing experiment for Taiwanese government to create more meaningful policies with its citizens. But the scope is not only in Taiwan, right? It's also not only in any particular form of government. We can see it as an experiment to prototype a new model that creates or generates consensus among a larger group of people. So it's also an experiment for a new way of working together with everyone. And in other words, it's a larger collaboration model that is scalable and sustainable. So when I look at vTaiwan, I see another way of implementing democracy with the help of emerging or existing technology. And if you ask if there are other projects similar to vTaiwan, there are actually many. And the challenges we have so far includes how might we improve the quality of discussion, how might we improve the participation rate, how might we make this process more inclusive, how could we lower this entry level for people to participate, and if we can institutionalize this model, that means empower the government to merge this work back in the more meaningful ways.
To find out more about how cities and states are using CrowdLaw, please visit thegovlab.org or check out crowd.law.